Afternoon. Not a bad day today. So we've had a very long drive. So most of you might be aware that we were on telly last Monday on the show Steph's Packed Lunch on Channel 4. You can probably get it on catch up, but they approached us as a family to be on the programme, so we've driven up. There's a 4-hour drive, but we stopped halfway for a little break, do a bit of shopping. So we're on a nice campsite just outside of Leeds, and the studio's in Leeds, so we've got to be there early in the morning tomorrow. And we've tied it in with meeting up with Courtney and James, who are going to turn up in about half an hour, so that's quite nice. So we'll be able to sit outside as long as it doesn't start raining, and then we're going to spend at least a few days here with them, maybe longer if we head off somewhere with them after we've been on the campsite for 2 days. Morning, it's 8:30 on Monday morning, and we're up in Leeds and we're off to Steph's Packed Lunch shortly. I'm a little bit nervous. Live TV fills me with fear, despite being a YouTuber of sorts. It's a little bit nerve-wracking. So it's about a 20-minute drive to where we're meeting Jake from the studio before we go into the studio area. So it's kind of exciting. Yeah, I'm definitely a little bit nervous today, and we're on a lovely campsite. It's full up, 30 pitches, and we're here with driving Dee Dee, so we had a nice chat last night. I'm looking forward to, dare I say it, having a beer with them later. As soon as we're out of Steph's Packed Lunch, it'll be time for a beer to celebrate or commiserate, depending how it went. Sure, it'll be fine. Missy seems quite chilled, Rosie's nervous. One doesn't know what's going on, but he's very busy watching the cats this morning. So, see what we can film in the studio. I'm going to try and get the camera out if I can and get a bit of filming. I think we're filming outside by the canal, so that'd be nice as the weather's pretty cool at the moment. It's supposed to be a little bit of rain later, no doubt, exactly when we want to film outside, probably knowing the glorious English weather. So yeah, we're off shortly. I'll show you a bit of the journey there. So I hope you got a chance to watch it, and let us know what you think.
We're on our way to the TV studio. Rosie's not quite awake yet. We're all perky because we've been packing up the van. We've been up since early o'clock. I'm quite excited to be on telly. A bit nervous because I think the dog's probably going to let us down in some way. It's probably going to be bogey. We're looking forward to it though. Best foot forward. Sun is shining, that's always good. If we get rained out, it will be a bit sad.
What do you reckon to being on telly, Rose?
I'm nervous, very nervous.
Yeah, me too.
And we're having an entire set made here, and I'm quite interested about it.
One's been a good boy. You've been a good boy, Juan.
So good, Juan. Oh, yeah. 6. 1, 6.
One's on telly.
Okay, recording now, don't cross shots, please. Oh, look at that, pretty.
Track you in to get on a 3/4 a bit.
Yeah.
So we've done our rehearsals and we've got 20 minutes now before the show starts at 12:30. So at 12:30 we've got to go in the van so we're not in shot, and then hang about in the van until they come outside to film us live on the little patio setup that they've got next to the van, which is just there. And a bit hungry now, still a little bit nervous, no idea why. I've been on camera many times before, and that's before we did YouTube, but it's quite a big film crew, so it's a little bit nerve-wracking. Rose is excited now, she was very nervous this morning, but I think she feels a bit more comfortable. Rosie and I went in the studio and had a quick peek around, it's pretty cool. You'll see the studio if you're watching the programme or if you've seen it before. So we're looking forward to being live on Steph's Packed Lunch. And thanks for watching. Do a bit more filming when we're done and let you know how it went from our perspective. And then back to the campsite for a bit of lunch with Courts and Meeks. So looking forward to that as well.
My husband had travelling in a van as on his old age bucket list, and I came across the hashtag Vanlife on Instagram one day and lost myself for a couple of hours scrolling through all the fantastic images, and it was so dreamy, you know, people looking out their back doors at beaches and sunsets and mountains. And I went to him and I said, wouldn't this be nice to do one day, you know, let's come up with a 5-year plan. And he went, well, no, let's do it next year. And that was it. Within a couple of months we had a van, we'd started working on it.
Yeah. And was it quite easy to organise, Dom, then, to just suddenly, you know, sell up?
No, it was quite an impulsive decision. And then we discussed it as a family for a couple of months.
Yeah.
I'd never driven a van, never been away in a camper van or anything. So
really? But you just still really wanted to do it?
So we then decided as a family, yeah, let's do it. So then the reality hit. We bought the van. We converted it all ourselves. So that took us 8 months. So while we were building the van, we were also packing our house up.
Yeah.
And we realised just how much stuff we had in the house. It was quite a challenge.
And we're just seeing the van before you did it up, so that's how you originally got it then?
Yeah.
And then it was a case of kitting it out?
We had to rip out everything, parcel shelves, bulkhead.
Yeah.
We had Rosie bashing the rivets out.
That was actually surprisingly fun doing that, because I
Was
got
it?
to hit things.
What do you think about it, Rosie? Were you, like, up for it straight away?
At first, I was very unsure because I always like collecting lots of things, but in the end, I have tons of storage in the van, so
Yeah.
really, it's just the dream life.
Yeah, fair enough. Missy, can you just give us a sense of what the van's like then? So tell us, first of all, how do you do your cooking and things?
We have a fully equipped kitchen in there. We've got a 2-burner hob that runs off gas. We've got a fridge with a little freezer in there, so we've got ice creams with us.
Yeah.
We've got a sink, nice and deep, with a tap and running water. We can make a whole roast dinner on there if we want.
Amazing. And tell me about, obviously, Rosie mentioned storage then. Dom, tell us what the storage is like in the van.
Well, it's every nook and cranny, really. So it's literally every available little space. But we've got lots of drawers, lots of cupboards, underbed space. Over the cab, we put a shelf in so that we could store things above there, a lot of wasted space there, and
Yeah,
literally just stuff it in everywhere.
There's something to be said. I mean, I sort of, in my head somewhere, have this sort of idea, wouldn't it be wonderful to go and just go, fine, get off the grid and go and explore? Because I feel sometimes we waste so much life not really doing anything. And it's such a wonderful world to see. Is it exciting having the opportunity just to go, OK, where did we go today? And just going and exploring the world.
That's exactly it. That's exactly what it is like. I almost feel daft saying it, but yeah, it's that magical. Every morning we wake up and the first thing we realised is that we're spending so much more time outside. Because when you're in a house, you might choose to go in the garden, but then you're back in the house for all your stuff. With the van, we've got the door open. It's like you're outside all the time.
Yeah.
And, yeah, we can decide, well, what do we fancy? Do we fancy mountains or beaches? Do we fancy France or Spain? Because you can be in either place in a couple of hours, you know?
How long do you stay in a place then?
Sometimes just a night, maybe 2 nights if it's particularly nice. Over the last summer, we had an unusual 7 weeks in one spot. That was on a private beach. So we were able to stay. And that was fantastic because we really felt we got in touch with the land. We got used to the patterns of the sea and we could predict what was going to happen with the sea according to the weather yesterday.
Yeah.
So that was pretty magical, but usually just a couple of days.
What's the sleeping arrangement like? Do you, how do you bunk down in the van?
So we've got a double bed, which is high up, so like the top bunk, if you imagine. And then we've got another double bed underneath, which is Rosie's and Juan's, one of the dogs. So Rosie's is in the curtains there. You can see it through there. And then we've got curtains. So you've got a little private kind of nook if you want to go and read on your own.
Yeah. What about school, Rosie, then? How do you do your education?
Right now I'm unschooled, so I just learn as I go. For example, since we have quite a lot of barbecues on the road, I've just learned how to cook food on a barbecue when I needed to learn that. And I have been in school for a period of time to learn everything that's kind of like the basics, but I learn as I go.
Yeah, fair enough.
She's been home educated since she was 6. So moving into the van wasn't an extra hurdle for us.
So you weren't in a school and then left to go and do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And tell me then, what about, this is a delicate question, going to the loo and things like that? How have you got all that kitted out in the van as well?
Yeah, have.
We've got a wet room, so it doubles up as a shower if you want it to. It's completely waterproof. Got a toilet in there, which is a compost toilet.
And it's got a sliding door. So
Sliding
it's nice
door,
and private.
so it's private. I guess initially when we first moved in, you know, it's a little bit conscious that you're like a foot away from somebody else in the van, but you soon get used to it, and it's, you know, it's all contained and
it's
private.
It's like a TARDIS, isn't it? Because honestly, everything you've explained, and you've got your 2 cats and your 2 dogs.
Yeah. Everything we've explained you can touch while standing in one spot.
What do you feel like you miss out on anything in your, I call it your old life, I suppose, in having a home as opposed to living this nomadic life?
It is our home.
Well, yes, absolutely. Do you think? But do you miss anything from before?
I think it's probably the opposite, really. It was amazing how the freedom was just amazing, and our front room is outside, so you know, we park up. We've chased the sun, so when we sit around as a family, we're outside most of the time.
Yep. No, I don't miss anything from house life.
You paint a beautiful picture, but is there anything? What's the hardest thing about it then?
Well, it's like anything. Any ideal lifestyle, there's always things go wrong. So, you know, if you're in a house and it's winter and your boiler stops working, then you've got to get your boiler fixed. It's the same in the van. We've had problems along the way. Can we find water? Does something break down? You've got to get it fixed. We got stuck in our first week in Spain, literally stuck, and the van sunk into a swamp.
Oh, no.
So a Spanish guy came with a spade, and then he called his mates, and they came with bottles of wine, and then there was like 50 people, and they were all trying to dig us out, and then they called a tractor, and he dug us out. So there's all, you know,
I guess
normal
the hardest thing is unpredictability then.
Yeah. And is this you guys now for life, do you think? Are you just going to stay out on the road? Could you ever see a day where you go back into a physical house?
Not like we were before. No, I don't think so. Not sure what the distant future will hold, but for now we're more than happy in the van. We haven't seen hardly anything yet. We've done a lot of France and Spain and Portugal and some of England, and we were looking forward to going north and going to Morocco, and then of course the pandemic stopped that. So we haven't seen anything yet, really.
Yeah. Do you reckon you've got room for Anton? because he's...
I tell you, I can take some of the driving. Perhaps.
Yeah.
I'm very good like that.
Yeah.
Nice, because I do all the
Give you a
driving,
break.
so we can take
I'd
it in
like to give you
turns.
a break, yeah.
Yeah.
So there we go, behind the scenes. Thanks to the camera crew. It was fun. All packing up now. So there we are, Those Weirdos on telly. So we had to do a lot of sitting around because it rained, which was a shame because we were due to be sitting outside with all the pets and have an 8-minute segment. And then because of the rain, we couldn't sit outside on the set that they'd built in front of the van. So we had to go in the studio, and they were going to bring the dogs in, which would have been fun. But because it was so wet, they didn't want to get all the floors wet and wet pets everywhere. So we've got a 3-minute segment. As of now, we're still waiting by the studio because they're still filming and we can't be in shot. I have no idea how we did because I'm not able to watch it back yet. But we've had lots of lovely people online on Instagram and Facebook sending us messages saying we came across really well, so I'm pleased about that. Nothing worse than somebody messaging you to say you came across badly on the telly. So yeah, all relaxed now, and I think I've earned myself a beer. So as soon as we can head off, we're off back to the campsite, and we're going to chill out with Courtney and James, have a few beers and cook ourselves some tapas to have for dinner, so I'm looking forward to that. So if you watched Steph's packed lunch, thanks for watching, and thank you to everyone that sent well wishes and posted afterwards to say that we were fabulous, which is all very nice to hear. So we'll see you on the road, or we'll see you a bit later. I'll probably get the camera out again. Morning, lovely day today, makes a change, no clouds, absolutely sunny, nice and warm, always like a bit of that when we're out on the road on England. So we're off our campsite today after the excitement of Steph's packed lunch yesterday, and we're spending another day with Courtney and James from Driving Dee Dee. So we're in Leeds still, so I think we're going to head a bit north and spend tonight with them, and then tomorrow they're off, and then I think after that we're going to head down to Camp Cozy maybe, so that'd be exciting, meet up with some other van lifers, which I always love, hanging around with like-minded people and without the hassle of being moved on and all that kind of stuff that you get so often in England. So yeah, it's a bit hard at the moment for a lot of van lifers. Morning, it's 8 o'clock, just got up, so I'm probably looking nice and fine, and we're in the woods, we're the other side of Leeds, and we're with Driving Dee Dee still. We had a nice evening, but man did it rain last night, God, it chucked it down, and hail and biblical thunder and lightning. It's the middle of May, and I don't know where the weather comes from in England, but it's always a challenge. Not very predictable. But we had a lovely evening, and there's ice everywhere as well. I think it must have hailed. So we're off to Camp Cozy today. So we're saying goodbye to Dee Dee. It's been a nice few days. It's good to be back on the road, and we've had a really good time. But absolutely gorgeous here. It is by the road, but it's not a particularly big road, but it is 8 in the morning, so people are off to work. But very peaceful. And it's just a little car park in the woods really, for bikers and dog walkers and van lifers alike. But alright, so I think it's about a 90-minute drive down to Scunthorpe today to Camp Cozy. So all very nice.